Hey guys, this is my review of Evolve 14. This event took place last night in Ybor City, Florida. And this was a very interesting show. It went down in two different parts. The first half was FUW, Florida Underground Wrestling. And the second half was Evolve Wrestling. So, gonna go through these notes, gonna give you my thoughts on each of these matches. Gonna start off with the FUW show. Opening match was Rocky Santiago, and I do have my papers from Wrestling Man's Wrestling Show from yesterday. Rocky Santiago challenging Lince Dorado for the Flash title. Really nothing much to talk about here. Lince Dorado did get the win. He would retain his title. Really nothing much of a match to talk about, so nothing really super came out of that. Next match, Maxwell Chicago against Dakota Darso. Now, I gotta say, I am now a fan of Maxwell Chicago. This guy comes out in a tuxedo jumpsuit, it looks like. And I was on the chat at WWNlive.com during the event, and I was saying, I want that to be my tuxedo for the day I get married. Chicago is a bit of a comedy character, and Lenny Leonard even made the point at one point during the match where he's like, could you imagine him and Cabana as a tag team? And I was watching this match, and it made me think, Maxwell Chicago is a smaller version of Colt Cabana if Cabana was a full-fledged heel. He does have that comedy in him, but this is Colt Cabana if he was a little bit smaller and was a heel. Dakota Darso got the win with a stranglehold neck breaker, which looked really good. And then after the match, you could hear Lenny Leonard going, "That guy is effing funny." Huh. So yeah, that made it on the air. Next match was the FUW Tag Team title match. The team of Kennedy Kendrick and Johnny Armani challenging the James Boys for the tag team title. And one of the James Boys in this match, I forgot his name, but he needs to put more clothes on when he wrestles, because he looked like a smaller version of Playboy Buddy Rose when Buddy Rose was weighing 300 pounds plus, late in his career. He just seemed out of shape. But speaking of shape, Johnny Armani, his body reminded me of a young Rick Rude, but he had a little bit less muscle than Rude. He's a muscular guy, but he has less muscle than Rick Rude had. End of the match came when one of the James Boys kicked Kendrick low, got him out of the ring, and they hit a double team move on Armani to get the win. The James Boys stay the FUW Tag Team Champions. Then we get an in-ring segment with the Cuban Assassin, Fidel Sierra, and he talks about how tomorrow night, which would be today, they're having a legend ceremony for some of the wrestlers of Florida Wrestling. And that the next night, Saturday night, would be legend against legend. And he wants Kevin Sullivan. Well, he doesn't want to wait for Sullivan. He wants to do it now. So Kevin Sullivan comes out to a huge ovation, which, if you watch the Florida territories, Kevin Sullivan was just about the most hated guy in that entire state. So Fidel and Kevin ended up fighting all over the Orpheum building, and that leads up to their match coming up Saturday. So the next match is for the Cuban heavyweight title, Sam Shaw against Wes Briscoe. These two guys are in good shape, good condition. Wes Briscoe, son of Gerald Briscoe, nephew of the late, great Jack Briscoe. He looks bigger than his dad was. He really did. These guys put in an okay match. Wes Briscoe got the win, retained the Cuban heavyweight title. The next match was for the Bruiserweight title. You heard me right, the Bruiserweight title. The Greek god Demas against Michael Tarver. Now, Tarver looked like he had a little bit of weight on him, but these guys were hitting each other pretty good. And one thing I had a problem with this show, with the FUW show, they had one particular referee. He was also the referee for the Santiago Dorado match. He counted so slow. I mean, it was like 1, 2. Oh, I kicked out at 2. He just seemed so slow. But the match ends when Tarver hits that punch on Demas. He retains the Bruiserweight title. So now we go to the main event of the FUW card. Kahagas challenging Bruce Santana. This is a champion versus champion match, title for title. Kahagas has the NWA National Heavyweight title. Bruce Santana has the FUW Heavyweight title on the line. So whoever wins is going to be in possession of both belts. And these guys beat the crap out of each other. I mean, these guys were just beating each other up in the ring, out of the ring, and, you know, it was just a good brawl. The ending was a little bit weird. I sort of didn't like the ending. A couple of guys got involved, and that was enough distraction on Santee for Kahagas to get his move, and Kahagas wins the FUW Heavyweight title. So he is now in possession of both the FUW Heavyweight title and the NWA National Heavyweight title. One thing I wanted to point out real quick about that match was that Bill Alfonso was at ringside for that match for Kahagas. So after a brief little intermission, Evolve 14 began, and this was a good show. This was a good show. Opening match was Jake Manning, the Man Scout, against John Silver. And I gotta tell you, I was impressed by both guys, but John Silver is gonna be something really good. I got that feeling. There are certain guys that when you watch a couple times, you got that feeling he's gonna be something special. I think if Evolve and Dragon Gate USA can get John Silver on their shows on a regular basis, he's going to be a guy that a lot of people are going to be talking about in the next couple of years. But John Silver does get the win. He goes to 2-1. Manning goes to 1-2. So, Lenny Leonard comes out. He's about to interview Silver when Chuck Taylor takes the mic and just kicks everybody out. So he's saying, you know, how he's got his title match against Johnny Gargano and he's going to win the title. He then promises the Swamp Monster, when he wins the belt, as I lose my pen, excuse me a minute, he promises the Swamp Monster, when he wins the belt, the Swamp Monster gets the first shot at the title. Could be interesting. Could break internet pay-per-view records. So Colt Cabana comes out and we get our second match, Chuck Taylor against Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana's debut in Evolve Wrestling. And, you know, this is your typical funny match. I mean, it was a funny match. It was a good match. It had its moments. They even went outside of the ring. Like, Chuck Taylor had a figure 4 on Colt Cabana. And Cabana's trying to reverse it, and Taylor gets it back. Cabana tries to reverse it. Taylor gets it back. It goes back and forth, to the point where they roll to the outside of the ring with the figure 4 leg lock still on. And I've never seen the figure 4, you know, where somebody rolls out of the ring like that. It was very, very interesting. It was pretty cool, to be honest with you. End of the match comes when Chuck Taylor catches Colt Cabana. He locks in a half crab, single leg crab. Cabana taps out. Chuck Taylor wins. He now has a win going into the title match that's going to take place. The next match is a tag team match. the scene against the team of Mike Cruz and Cheech. Now, I'm going to be fair with you guys. Not the biggest fan of the scene. I don't know what it is about this team that, they got hopes for them. I really don't know. I mean, Conley is a good wrestler. But Scott Reed, there's just something about, and I'm not, am I bashing him here? Yeah, I don't think he's that good, but, I've seen worse guys improve. I really have. But this match was fantastic. This is a fantastic match. In my opinion, this is the match that Mike Cruz could break out of. Just like John Silver. He could break out and he could end up being a big star with Dragon Gate USA and Evolve. Cheech looked good. Conley looked good. This was a very good tag match. And the end of the match comes when Conley and Reed hit their finishing move, which is called Upscene, which is a DDT German suplex combination. It looks really good. It's a really good finishing move. The Scene get the win, but Mike Cruz looked great in that match. At one point, he hit a springboard frog splash, and Cheech still is a very good wrestler. I'd like to see him more in either tag team or singles competition. So then we begin Style Battle 2012. Now I'll explain the rules of this round robin, how the point system is going to work. You get 2 points for a win. You lose 1 point for a loss. If the match ends in a double disqualification or a double countout, nobody gets points. There are no time limit. There is going to be a winner in every match. So, the first match that we have of Style Battle is Tommy Taylor against John Davis. Now, Tommy Taylor, I'd heard about this guy through the NWA when he wrestled in Florida. He took 2 years off. He retired, basically, because of some injuries. His knee, his shoulder. But he got that urge back. He got that bug back in him. And, he's back into wrestling. John Davis, in this tournament, is fighting to, he said if he does not win this, he's leaving Evolve. So we get this match. It's okay for what it is. I mean, Taylor, he hasn't had a match in 2 years. Obviously, a little bit of ring rust is going to come in. He seemed okay. Maybe needs a little bit more time getting used to the ring. John Davis got the win. He has 2 points. Tommy Taylor is at -1. So then we go to our other Style Battle tournament match. Bobby Fish against AR Fox. This was the better of the 2 matches for this night anyway. A lot of high-flying moves by AR Fox. Even Bobby Fish hit a couple of high-flying moves. This was a good match. Match ends when Bobby Fish locks in the fish hook on AR Fox, and Fox taps out surprisingly. So Bobby Fish gets the win. He gets 2 points. And more importantly, for those of you that follow Evolve and their records, Bobby Fish is now at 500. So, to update you on the standings real quick of the Style Battle round robin, John Davis and Bobby Fish each have 2 points. Tommy Taylor and AR Fox each are at -1. And I'll get to tonight's card and why both of them have to win their match. So we go to our women's match. This is the Shine preview match. Sarah Del Rey against Santana Garrett. And I hate to say this, but it's your typical, it's a squash match. Sarah Del Rey goes over with the Royal Butterfly Suplex, although I think Santana Garrett looks pretty nice to me. After the match, Sarah Del Rey got on the mic, said that she wanted better competition, and she has challenged Jazz to a match at the first Shine event, which will be July the 20th, which you can see on WWNLive.com. Now, after that is the four-way freestyle. Now, originally, Silas Young was going to be a part of this match, but for some reason, and I don't know why, Silas Young had to pull out of this weekend because he was set up for 3 big matches. This match, a match with El Generico, and a match with Johnny Gargano, but for some reason he had to pull out, don't know why. So the match is Tony Nese, Alex Reynolds, Johnny Gargano, and taking Silas Young's spot, Lince Dorado. Wow, this was a good match. These guys were just, flying all over the place. They were hitting moves, that you hadn't seen in a while. There were points where you thought, this guy's going to win, and then this guy's going to win, and then this guy's going to win, and this guy's going to win. And the ending of the match comes where Gargano and Reynolds are lying on the mat. Tony Nese hits a move. Lince Dorado hits a move. But Nese was the first one to get the cover. 1, 2, 3. Tony Nese wins. He wins his first, or actually, is it his first? Yeah, his first match in Evolve. And Alex Reynolds loses his first match in Evolve. After the match, Tony Nese challenged Johnny Gargano to a match on Saturday. Now, it did look like that Gargano was seriously hurt towards the end of that match with the back injury. Hopefully he is fine. And then we go to the main event of the evening and the best match of the night. Samurai Del Sol against El Generico. Holy crap. What a match this was. These guys were doing wrestling, they were doing lucha, they were doing high flying, and there was even one point where Samurai Del Sol, he botched walking the rope, the top rope, but he got himself together and hit the move accurately. It was that good of a match. And the end comes when Generico hits a running Yakuza kick on the Samurai, hits the Brain Buster off the top turnbuckle. El Generico gets the 3 count. He is back at 500. Now, after the match, Generico cuts a promo. Generico cuts a promo. Well, in his own way, he cut a promo. And he goes to Samurai Del Sol, who's getting himself back together. And he said, you get a rematch whenever you want. You tell me when, you got the rematch. And then Del Sol grabs the mic, and the only word he says is, tomorrow. Ooh. So, after Generico gets off the mic, Christina Von Eerie, representing Mad Blanky, comes out, and she has some choice words for El Generico. Now, she then slaps Generico a couple times across the face, even spits on him. She goes to the corner to give the microphone to somebody when Generico gives her a running Yakuza kick in the corner, and it was so good, I swear, I thought she got knocked out with that kick. I mean, Generico just ran and boom! Running Yakuza kick in the corner, and Generico, he's got this look of just the shocked look on his face of what he did, and he wanted to help, but the people were, some of the officials were trying to get him to leave, to get out of the area, and he was just in shock, and it was a good way to end Evolve 14. So what are my thoughts on the entire show as a whole? The FUW show, it was what it was. Can't, say too much. Their main event was the best match on their show. Evolve 14, this was a good show, had 3 really good matches. The scene against Mike Cruz and Cheech, the 4-way freestyle, and the main event. Unbelievable, that main event. It's going to get overlooked as a Match of the Year candidate, unfortunately. But trust me when I tell you, this was a very good match. And a very good Evolve show overall. Now, tonight is night 2 of their Triple Shot Weekend, Evolve 15. It will be at the Wildwood Recreation Center, St. Petersburg, Florida. The doors open at 7. Tickets will be available at the door tonight. FUW will start off again. 7:30 p.m. is the bell time. And then Evolve will follow them somewhere between 8:45 and 9 o'clock. Evolve started last night at 9 o'clock. Did about a 2-hour show. So, and it went pretty good. So, I'll run down both lineups. I'll start with the FUW lineup. Now, tonight they're going to be honoring some of the legends of Florida wrestling. Barry Darsow, Ron Simmons, Fidel Sierra, Kevin Sullivan, Ron Bass, Bugsy McGraw, Mike Graham, Gerald Briscoe, Bob Cook, Tyree Pride, and many more will be there. FUW has 5 matches set tonight. Bruce Santee will face a mystery opponent. Cahagas will defend the NWA National Heavyweight title against Wes Briscoe. The James Boys will defend the tag team titles against Michael Zaki and Francisco Ciazzo. The FUW Flash title will be defended in a 6-man Madness match. Lince Dorado, Sideshow, Maxwell Chicago, Dakota Darso, Wayne Wonder, and James Alexander. And a special pre-show match that's going to take place for those in attendance. So if you get to this show early, you get this bonus match. Rocky Santiago and Threat to take on Steel Horse Vachon and Romeo Rizal. Then, Evolve 15. The main event, Johnny Gargano defends the Open the Freedom Gate title tonight against Chuck Taylor. Plus, El Generico to face Samurai Del Sol in the rematch. Plus, night 2 of the Style Battle Tournament. AR Fox, last year's champion, who's at -1, faces John Davis in a must-win situation for AR Fox. If he loses this match, he's done for. Bobby Fish will face Tommy Taylor. Same situation for Taylor. If he loses this match, he is done in the tournament. Cheech will take on Colt Cabana. A 6-way freestyle. Alex Reynolds, John Silver, Jake Manning, Lince Dorado, Caleb Conley, and Scott Reed. And Tony Nese will take on Mike Cruz. And that is your lineup for tonight's Evolve 15. Remember, if you cannot make it there, WWNlive.com is the place to go. You can still order this event right now. I recommend you guys order this event tonight. This looks like a very good card. And whenever you get a chance, go watch Evolve 14. A very good show, headlined by one hell of a main event.